This is Wisdom07 TV, a channel for wisdom with educational spirit. Today we're talking about Kendrick Lamar wisdom. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Who is Kendrick Lamar? Kendrick Lamar was born June 17, 1987. He is an American rapper and songwriter regarded as one of the most influential hip-hop artists of his generation with 17 Grammy Awards. Kendrick Lamar, build your own pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs. If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? My rights, my wrongs, I write till I'm right with God. If I'm going to tell a real story, I'm going to start with my name. Life will put many red lights in front of you, but sometimes we must push on the gas and trust God. So next time you feel like your world is about to end, I hope you studied because he's testing your faith again. I'd rather not live like there isn't a God than die and find out there really is. Think about it. I learned when I look in the mirror and tell my story that I should be myself and not peep whatever everybody is doing. I'm standing on a field full of landmines doing the moonwalk, hoping I blow up in time. The universe energy doesn't lie. We hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us. What is love? Love to me is God. It's easy to forget who you are. Hip-hop is not the problem, our reality is the problem. Since day one, since the first time I touched the pen, I wanted to be the best at what I do. It's the beauty in her, but when the makeup occurs, I don't see it. All I see is a blur. The one in front of the gun lives forever. Just let me be me, that's the only way I know. I was a black sheep, but now I'm just a goat. My mind is living on cloud 9, and this 9 is never on vacation. Don't you know your imperfections is a wonderful blessing? From heaven is where you got it from? We all get distracted. The question is, would you bounce back or bounce backwards? Although the butterfly and the caterpillar are completely different, they are one and the same. The message I'm sending to myself: I can't change the world until I change myself first. God to me is love. It's the ruler of all things, whether it's with a person or with music or with your TV. I feel like it's this energy. God is energy, love is energy. You really can't categorize my music. It's human music. I stole a Bible, is that a sin? $1 might turn to $1 million and we all rich, that's just how I feel. 29. Consequences from evil will make your past haunt you. I think my worst problem is actually living in the moment and understanding everything that's going on. I feel like I'm in my own bubble. 31. As long as my music is real, it's no limit to how many ears I can grab. I don't talk about these things if I haven't lived them, and I've hurt people in my life. It's something I still have to think about when I sleep at night. The opposite of love, vice, temptation, the negative influences that we have, the bad energy that comes around us and makes us do certain things. To me, it's always been a war between the two. I want you to recognize that I'm a proud monkey. I'm constantly thinking. Found myself screaming in a hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. My lyrics say I have morals, I have confidence, I have weaknesses, I have strong points, that I am a human being. Whatever pressure I feel all comes from me, from within. I always was that person who was hard on myself and challenged myself no matter what I was doing, whether it was passing 3rd grade or playing basketball. At first, I was scared to show fear because you can never be sure how people will perceive you. But I dared myself to do that, to stand out. Now I'll talk about being beaten up or robbed or making a stupid decision because of a girl or whatever. Once I looked in the mirror and decided this is who I am, and I'm not scared of who I am. And I'm not scared that I can't be like you. And I'm good with just doing me. That's when I found myself as a man. Eventually you get to this point where you understand what you want to do and get across and sound like. I see conflict, but the conflict is what makes it relatable. I'm conflicted. You're conflicted. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I'm just blessed to be able to express my conflict through song. What separated me from all my homeboys is the fact that I didn't get caught inside the reality. I was always dreaming about doing something else or going somewhere else. I think my vice would be outdoing myself. And groups break up because they never got across what they wanted to do personally, and they have creative differences and egos start to clash. I don't vote, I don't do no voting. My whole thing is to inspire, to better people, to better myself forever in this thing that we call rap, this thing that we call hip-hop. You don't hear no artists from Compton showing vulnerability. I knew I was blessed with a gift of having both parents. It's almost like we're friends, because a friend listens. I'm Machiavelli's offspring, I'm the king of New York, king of the coast, one hand, I juggle them both. People have to go through trials and tribulations to get where they at. Do your thing, continue to rock it, because obviously God wants you here. I can't help the way you was born if you was gay. It's easy to forget who you are. I like to let things breathe. 56. I got a greater purpose. God put something in my heart to get across. And that's what I'm going to focus on, using my voice as an instrument and doing what needs to be done. People gonna be their own individuals and have their own worlds, and I can't knock it. The worst part of success is, to me, adapting to it. It's scary. I think my worst problem is actually living in the moment and understanding everything that's going on. I feel like I'm in my own bubble. As long as my music is real, it's no limit to how many ears I can grab. I don't vote. I don't do no voting. At first, I was scared to show fear because you can never be sure how people will perceive you. But I dared myself to do that to stand out. Now I'll talk about being beaten up or robbed or making a stupid decision because of a girl or whatever. I always was that person who was hard on myself and challenged myself no matter what I was doing, whether it was passing third grade or playing basketball. If my edge is dull, my sword is dull, and I don't want to fight another guy whose sword is dull. If you've got two steel swords going back and forth hitting each other, what's gonna happen? Both of them are going to get sharper. Everybody that's in the industry has lost their edge. You don't hear no artists from Compton showing vulnerability. 66. When everybody looks at our generation of kids, they always call us the misfits. You know, like we just don't give a damn. 67. People are used to music that justifies street culture, but something that's not touched on is why these kids act the way they act. Live the way they live. You can have the platinum album. But, you know, when you still feel like you haven't quite found your place in the world, it kind of gives a crazy offset. Black and brown pride have been taught in my household for a long time. I'm putting out this free music, constantly putting it out. I learned, when I look in the mirror and tell my story, that I should be myself and not peep whatever everybody is doing. My mom's always told me, how long you gonna play the victim? I can say I'm mad and I hate everything, but nothing really changes until I change myself. The hardest thing for not only an artist, but for anybody to do is look themselves in the mirror and acknowledge, you know, their own flaws and fears and imperfections and put them out there in the open for people to relate to it. I'm constantly thinking. I think my vice would be outdoing myself. I always thought money was something just to make me happy, but I've learned that I feel better being able to help my folks, because we never had nothing. So just to see them excited about my career is more of a blessing than me actually having it for myself. I'm selfish. My whole thing is to inspire, to better people, to better myself forever in this thing that we call rap, this thing that we call hip-hop. When I'm in the studio, I'm looking for creativity I haven't matched yet, a feeling I haven't felt. It's a high. The best thing is to always keep honest people around. Because when you have a bunch of yes men around that know that you're making a mistake but let you go on with it, that's when it ruins your mind state as an artist. Being acknowledged for your work is always a great accomplishment. Whether it's people in my city, kids in the street, all the way up to the Grammys. When I talk to kids, I'm really listening. When I do that, we have a little bit of a bigger connection than me being Kendrick Lamar and you being a student. Temptation is just the feeling that you're the most independent person on planet Earth. That you know everything. That's something that we all go through as a kid. Now, this lifestyle that I'm in, the same thing exists. But it's 10 times worse because everything is at my disposal. When you're in the limelight, you can get anything you want. If I'm going to tell a real story, I'm going to start with my name. I don't want to be something that just comes and goes. I've been called a recluse. There's definitely truth in that. I like to spend time alone. I'm only as good as my last word, my last hook, my last bridge. I knew I was blessed with a gift of having both parents. I'm just writing. I keep these tablets on me until I'm inspired to go back in and make the music. I never take a break from my pen because I pride myself on that. 90. The majority of my interactions with police were not good. There were a few good ones who were actually protecting the community. But then you have ones from the valley. They never met me in their life. But since I'm a kid in basketball shorts and a white t-shirt, they want to slam me on the hood of the car. 16 years old. 91. We're in the last days, man. I truly in my heart believe that. It's written. I could go on with biblical situations and things my grandma told me. But it's about being at peace with myself and making good with the people around me. It's a great experience to finally get the reception that you know you rightfully deserve. My mom's one of 13 siblings, and they all got 6 kids, and till I was 13, everybody was in Compton. My word will never be as strong as God's word. All I am is just a vessel doing his work. Since day one, since the first time I touched the pen, I wanted to be the best at what I do. God to me is love. Kendrick Lamar, I always tell people that if I move anywhere, it would be Toronto. Me as a person, I grow. I'm like a chameleon. You know, that is a gift and a curse for me, but more so a gift because it never puts me in a box. I'm sticking to the script. I'm putting that organic feeling back in the game. We're all put on this earth to walk in his image, the master. In all my days of schooling, from preschool all the way up to 12th grade, there was not one white person in my class. Literally zero. Kendrick Lamar. I look at where I'm at today and realize that most of my success is owed to the mentors that was in my life. Eventually, you get to this point where you understand what you want to do and get across and sound like. Whenever I make music, it reflects where I'm at mentally. Groups break up because they never got across what they wanted to do personally, and they have creative differences, and egos start to clash. Sunny Moon and Quadrants are a couple of bands that really inspire me in terms of the melodics of things and certain tones and just what feels good. It takes me back to the type of music that I grew up on in my household. We played a lot of gangsta rap, but we also played a lot of oldies, and I think that mix is part of what inspires my sound. I think that's why I put my energy into making music. That's how I get my thoughts out instead of being crazy all the time. When I went back to my old high school, all these kids looking at me like I'm the real big homie, the same way I look at Jay-Z, Nas, or Dr. Dre. You would have thought Michael Jackson walked through that joint off the excitement that they had. My pops and my mom started playing Marvin Gaye and the Isley Brothers and all these people, but at the same time, they always had Snoop on right behind it in the same mix. The way people look at me these days, that's the same way I looked at President Obama before I met him. We tend to forget that people who've attained a certain position are human. Please subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you.